Okay, so we got our rows prep for the greens. On the far right row, I'm gonna plant my collard greens there. The ones we're gonna do our mustards and turnips by seed in this middle row. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna just flatten that row out a little bit and get them ready for the seeds. Okay, what I want to do now is I want to just rake over. All we got to go all the way down my road and just make sure I get all any debris off. Heavy rocks or sticks, anything out of the way. Just get the soil nice and fine. I'm going to just go all the way down this road and do that. Also, I'm going to develop a little flat spot for my seeds to grow. And I, usually sprinkle mine about a foot increment in the row to be in a thin line. I just kind of plant them kind of wide in the row, and I try not to get the seeds too thick because it'll just keep you from having to do so many thinning out later. It is kind of hard to see the seeds, but if you pay close attention, you can kind of look carefully and you'll see them, and you just kind of imagine them growing up that way. So okay, we got our seeds all sprinkled in the row. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our handy rake and we're just going to lightly tap the ground. And what's that going to do is that's going to kind of get the seeds a little bit below the surface of the ground, of the dirt, because you don't want the seeds to fall too deep. You just want them to fall right below the surface. So just going to pat the ground in. Pat the seeds in the ground. Then after I do that, then I'll just come back and I just lightly rake over the ground. Just to ensure we got them in the ground and just ensure the row is flat. And like I say, just to make sure we got them under there where they won't wash away when it rains. And you just want to be real careful and gentle. Lightly rake it over top. So I'm going to go down the whole row like this, and that is all we need to do. And it's supposed to rain, so if it didn't rain, I'd probably sprinkle the ground with a light coating of water, but we're going to wait on the rain to come. And they should come up within 5 to 7 days. I should start seeing the sprouts come up. Glue those in these little cups, and I may do another video on how to sprout out your seeds, but it's very simple. You just want to use like a peat moss mixture and go ahead and sprout your seeds out. And then with the greens, they're a little bit thicker and meatier and growing on a meatier stalk, so you can broadcast them out too, but I have a little bit better luck if I plant them out individually. And I put them about 6 inches apart, and I got some more in the little trays there. So we're gonna go ahead and plant those out and set them out, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, it's mid-October and the mustard greens are coming in good. I went out here and I did a lot of weeding and did a little bit of thinning out. This is the time you want to do that. This is also a good time to put a little fertilizer on your greens seedlings if you need to. I have a lot of organic matter in my soil. I just did a garden amendment, so I'm not going to do any fertilizing, but if you did want to fertilize, you can just use a general fertilizer like triple 10 or triple 13. Okay, everybody, we're ready to harvest some mustard greens. Mustard greens get their days of maturity are a lot quicker than most other greens. So we planted these, and I'm in zone 8, by the way, in the south. So we planted these probably around mid-September. So here's the 1st of November, and they've been ready to harvest really for a few weeks already. But when you harvest your mustards, if you have them this thick, and this is ideally how I like to have mine, you don't want to just start in the top of the row and just start harvesting them all at one time. You want to randomly go through here and get some of the biggest leaves like this, and you can pull up the whole, snap up the whole mustard green if you want to. They will start growing little leaves at the base, but you know, they really, you know, have a short lifespan. They're not like collards or even turnips. So a lot of times I won't worry about trying to save the plant, but I will go through here and get one of the biggest plants, and then I just snap the whole thing off, and then I'll, you know, leave the stem in the field. You know, I don't take that inside with me, and then I just randomly go through here and pick them, you know, and that way you can kind of thin them out and harvest them at the same time. That way the remaining mustard greens will be, you know, grow a lot better once they get thinned out, and they'll, you know, continue to, you know, get bigger and bigger. Like this one right here is growing out here by itself. That's why it's so bigger, much bigger and mature. So, but anyway, everything is looking good. We do have a couple of broadleaf mustards right here that can be harvested, and then the turnips, they could be harvested as well. But I like to let my turnips get a little bit more mature than that, and let the bulbs on them start getting big. Okay, I want to go over harvesting your turnip greens real quick. They harvest really identical to the mustard greens. You want to me, I recommend if you get them kind of thick like I did these, because I have thinned them out quite a bit because they probably at the end of the harvest season. But if you plant them like I instructed you to plant them, you're going to want to go through there and just pull them up by the root. You should have a little small root on them, kind of like these. These are what they call a purple top turnip. So you want to, you know, just pull them up all the way out of the ground until you get them thinned out. And if you want to continue to save the plant and not put it up by the ground, you can just start harvesting outside leaves, and they will last quite a while. As long as the weather is cool, they'll continue to put leaves out. They will go to seed as soon as the spring gets here and the weather start getting warm, and at that point they're at their end. This is about as big as you want the bulb to get, because that's the only thing about leaving the turnip in the ground, is that bulb will get bigger and bigger and bigger. You'll see this bulb right here is about, it's about 5 inches wide. So that's about as big as you want the bulbs to get, because a lot of people eat the bulb. Matter of fact, some people say that's the best part of it, is you know, very tender and good, but they start getting woodsy and stringy if you let them get too much bigger than that. So that's the only difference about leaving the plant on the turnip, is that bulb will continue to get bigger. But anyway, we're gonna look at the collard greens next. All right, y'all, we're gonna wrap the video up by showing you the collards right quick. They have reached their peak. It is about mid-December, and you know, most people in my area, I'm in zone 8, I'm in the south, and if you live in the south in zone 8, 9, 7, and you live in Georgia, Florida, you know, maybe South Carolina, Louisiana, Alabama, then it's pretty popular to have collard greens by Thanksgiving. So if I wanted collard greens by Thanksgiving, I would have had to probably set these out a little earlier. I would have needed to set them out about you know, mid-August, no later than late August. That way I would have had, you know, greens ready by, you know, Thanksgiving. So I didn't really need to have my greens for Thanksgiving this time. This time I wanted to have collards and turnips and mustard for Thanksgiving. So they have a little quicker days to maturity. So I was able to set them all out at about the same time, and you know, I was able to enjoy some you know, turnips and mustards for Thanksgiving. So I kind of planned it that way because I didn't want to have everything ready at one time. So you may want to think about the days of maturity when you plant your winter greens. You also want to, you know, look at when you start going to have your first frost and your you know, your real freezing weather. So if you have you like here, we have our first frost around you know, November, December. We don't have any cold weather, just we'll get some freezing days and a few little frosts, and that's really what you want when your greens are reaching their peak. You kind of want them to experience a first frost, because they'll get that little pink color to them, and that makes them just have a lot better flavor. That's why winter greens are so much better than, you know, greens grown in the summer months. That's why I only grow my greens in the winter months. So they just taste so much better when they grow in cold weather. But you don't want them to have freezing weather, consistent freezing weather, or ice or snow, because that can kill them. So it's important to time when you plant your your fall greens based on when you start getting consistent icy weather. So here we can plant our greens between mid-August to maybe even mid-September, and we'll it'll be perfect for us in this area that I'm in. So if you live up north where the weather can get real cold around November, December, you might want to plant your greens, the fall greens, a little earlier, maybe in June or July, so you can your greens will be at their peak before you get real cold weather. But anyway, I enjoyed making this video. It was a lot of fun. I'm gonna go over harvesting the collards. With collards, when I got them this thick, sometimes I just pull them up, cut them out by the stalk, the whole plant up, until I get them kind of thinned out, and then I'll basically do the same thing I did with the others. And once I get them kind of thinned out, then I'll start harvesting the outside leaves, because collard greens will last a long time. Some people keep collard greens up to 2 years, and I just plant mine fresh each year because it's just I don't need to keep them that long. But you can just if you want to, just harvest the outside leaves. If you do, just try to kind of pull the green away from the stalk, because you want the stalk to stay kind of bare. And just pull them up like that, and then that plant will continue to thrive. Matter of fact, once you pull these leaves out, it'll kind of encourage it to start putting new leaves out. Okay, another option is to harvest is just to cut the whole plant up at the base. Now, when you do that, the plant is gonna be gone. So if you want to keep your plant, then just harvest the outside leaves, and it'll continue to put leaves out by the center. And this is the way that most of the commercial growers, harvest their greens. They just pull up the whole plant. And that's usually how you see them in the store. Just cut at the stalk. But anyway, you're just gonna have you some sharp shears or scissors or a sharp knife, and just cut it out by the base, and then just put the whole plant up. So that'll be a bundle of greens right there, and that's a nice bundle. So we got all that just from throwing some seeds in the ground. But anyway, I really appreciate y'all watching. I hope this video encourages you to grow greens. They'll last a long time, last right all out the fall. You can get plenty of usage out of them. They're very nutritious, and they're very easy to care for. So I really appreciate you for watching, and please subscribe.